welcome to another awesome Splat Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Slagle, and today we have on the show a paintball photographer from the Midwest, working on spreading the word about the sport of paintball with the players and capturing their images in battle. He is the owner of Integrity Shots Paintball and Airsoft Photography, Billy Jack Mefford.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Welcome to the show, Billy Jack.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
We were just talking a little bit beforehand, and you were kind of explaining like how you got into doing paintball photography.
Yeah.
So you said you used to go up to battlegrounds a lot, right?
Right. Yeah. I consider that my local field. That's where I go, and I started there, like I said earlier, about 4 years ago. As an invitation from one of the owners, a friend of mine, Tony Slusher. He asked me to, come out there and take some pictures of their event, and gave me a little bit of cash, and I got out there, absolutely fell in love with it. Started going out there every weekend, meeting the players, and the way they treated me was just like family. So I really started pushing hard, doing my best. And nobody ever told me what a paintball photographer did. So I knew I needed to get good shots, so I needed to be in there with the player. And if you look at my shot, I use a telephoto lens. It's not a long lens by any means. I take the shots with the players, so I've got the bruises to show it. The thing about it is, I wouldn't trade this for the world. I wouldn't trade each and every one of those hits. I don't know. It pushes me more to get a better picture, to work harder, because the amount of money that the players spend at each event or even an open play, the amount of money they spend to play this sport it's a lot, and you have to work hard to do it. So if I can give them something, even if it has my logo on it or it has a field logo, whatever be the case that I put on there, I want them to be able to have that. I ask people don't crop them out, stuff like that. But plus I make it affordable to purchase them. And I think that's a big thing, I've got a great photo team now. Lisa Sailors, she's a paramedic for Bargersville Fire Department. Up here is a full-time job, and she jumped on board with me, helping me out because her son plays, and it just grew so fast, and it was absolutely incredible how this all turned and went forward for me.
Well, so speaking of that, like what kind of shots are your favorite shots to get? Getting out there with those guys. I know I've seen some of your shots from Dreaded Legends and some Battlegrounds shots and stuff. What are your favorite shots to get?
Man, I'll tell you, it's I think final battles are always really cool. It's just pure adrenaline. I don't crouch down. I don't crawl around on the ground. I'm too big for that. I'm not. You'll see pictures of me, you'll be like, that guys. I stand there and take the hit. I don't even care at that point. But it's so much adrenaline. I get out there and to watch these players are in the zone. And for me to see that, and then they see me coming, and they give me a peace sign, whatever be the case, or they'll strike a pose when they're in the middle of a big battle. I'm getting lit up, and they just stop and pose for a second. I'm like, right on, man, let's do this. And one of the guys that he showed me he was the first paintballer to really, I guess, spike my interest, if you will. Brian Cole, he's from here in Indianapolis. He's a pump player. But that dude, he was the first one to say, come on, man, get up here with us. And he stopped and posed in the middle of the battle. First one to ever pose for me. My first time ever shooting paintball. And that's where I was like, oh, this is cool. Because these guys are not only intense players, but they stop. And they'll have fun with you. They'll talk to you, whatever be the case. Now, I'm a big boy. So these guys, they use me as a rolling bunker. So I get a kick out of that sometimes too. But I think that go back to your question. My favorite shots are the intense ones where the final battles are happening or off the field. In between events, in between games, everybody's kind of hanging out and talking, and you see the brother and sisterhood of the sport. It's absolutely incredible to watch people and take pictures of people being there for each other. Amongst all the crazy stuff the past year we've seen, and all the violence and all the stuff that we've seen around the country, there was a lot of race issues here and there. And I'll tell you what, in the middle of all that, I went on a paintball field, and I'm telling you, there is no color on a paintball field. There is no race. It's all one paintball family, and I really love that about this sport.
I've noticed that with like growing in just the local scene here. I know that it has been more like a family. These guys will do anything for you at a drop of a hat. They help you set up the fields. They help you, with paint. They help you with just any way that they can help you, they're out there helping you. So, and you're right. And in this day and age, and to, with all the stuff that's been going on, paintball has been one of those sports where it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your background is or where you came from.
Absolutely.
Some of these guys are, they look like rough looking characters, but they get out there on that paintball field and they're like the best guys you'll ever meet.
Absolutely. And no matter where they're from, you got people from Chicago, they got that label. I met a gentleman from New York. He's from right there. I hate to say where he's from because I know they have I think Manhattan. I don't know. I'm probably wrong on that. But he's a MagFed guy. He came down to a MagFed event for the MFOG ODIL up in Blast Camp. They do it up there every month, and Caesar's friend brought him down, and he says, I'm from New York. I'm like, you can't be from New York. They've got that reputation, of being tough guys and not very nice. This guy was the nicest guy, and I would have said he's from Nebraska. Such a nice guy, and that's just the way it is with everybody. You see the intensity on the field. You hear people yelling. It sounds like it's a war zone out there. But the same guy that was yelling at another player across the field, they come walking out together laughing and high-fiving. And that's what it's about. It's about you leave it on the field, go out there and have fun. Take your markers. Another remarkable thing that I see all the time are young kids, young guns coming out there with rental equipment, or they bought, a Cheever brand marker. And they come out there and something goes wrong with it. Well, the day could be over for them. But instead, these I'll say pro players, the high-dollar players that spend all the equipment, I'll see them walk up with a super expensive marker, hand it to the kid and say, go play. And I'm just like, dude, are you kidding me right now? I won't even carry that thing, So that's so I see that kind of stuff. And, they'll go and help them and coach them. So they stop and take a minute to do that. It's just incredible to me.
Yeah, you see that up there probably at Battlegrounds and all these big events, but even like on the local scene, it's crazy the amount of support these younger kids get. Just like you said, something breaks, it doesn't matter who it is. They're willing to give you something that they have, whether it's it was a $500 gun or $1,500 gun. That they don't care. They want you to go out there and grow the sport and have fun with it.
Right. And that's the cool thing about that, and, I got to give a shout out to all the field owners as well, because, they don't make a lot of money. I know paint prices are crazy, and, people see that, and it's disheartening a little bit to see paint prices the way they go. There's a big picture, behind all that, and as far as business goes and why things get priced that way. But I want to give a shout out to all the paintball field, not just here in Indiana, but across the country. The owners, what they do to make their fields stay fresh, never getting old, never getting the same thing. Something's always building. And, most of them have full-time jobs as well, and they go out there and, on the weekends, they're working 7 days a week because they work the regular job, then they work the 2 days on weekends, or they work the paintball field all week, whatever be the case. And they keep it fresh for the players, and they listen to players, and that's the way these fields survive, is by player input and having the players follow them, So big kudos to all the field owners out there that are trying to keep this sport alive with their hard work. Battlegrounds does it, and I know Blast Camp is an incredible area. If you're, haven't been up there, and you need to go up there because it's an old nuclear missile base, or a Nike missile base. I can't remember the history, but it's an old, the concrete buildings, and it's just the old military style base. Sherwood Forest.
Yeah.
Kathy and Joe, I love Kathy and Joe up there. That's one of the coolest fields because it's just so clean and pristine, and the big railroad castles and just all the stuff. So, every field, Asylum, I can name them off all day long. I have not been to a bad field. With Dread and Legends, that was awesome. Florida Track and Trails, that was so cool for me, being a Midwesterner, going down there and seeing the palm trees, and there's this gator in the pond right for the field. I'm just like, what? I'm used to seeing deer and rabbit, man. Here's an alligator looking at it. It's really cool. And Hanu, he's that thing was. I swear he was going to be lunch at some point. He was working in pretty close. So, I want to give a big shout out to those guys that did that CPX, all the refs and Track and Trails. They did a great job with the field, getting it ready. The final battle was pretty amazing. Yeah, a good segue going into Living Legends. This spring, it's going to be incredible, and I can't believe how hard DJ works, and his whole life is putting into making these great. So he's just one of the promoters that are amazing. You've got Mike Payroll, Jerry Grimm. It's just, you got so many good people out there, and I love each and every one of them. I know I'm leaving people out, so I hate to do that, but I could talk all day about the amazing people that are in there. So.
Yeah, like I said, it's great, and I mean, we even have we've got a few. We try to keep in our local area. We've got at least 2 or 3 small fields that we try to get new people involved in, and this and that. So, I mean, it's good trying to get these young kids in it and
right.
Just keep it going.
And that's the biggest thing, I sit back and look at that, and Painting the World One Kid at a Time is a charitable organization that gives stuff, and we just. Integrity Shots had the opportunity to work with them with a local kid here in Greenwood, and they shipped us a mask and everything the kid needed to play the game. Gave him a marker, gave him the pod pack, a great dye mask. I mean, it was a nice mask. It wasn't just a old floppy mask. It was a really nice mask, and we got the chance to take that to him and deliver it and take pictures, and the kids played before with rental equipment, obviously. He said he's played before with it. And then, so I gave him the opportunity, though, to pop around into my back, just to let that be his first shot with his own gun and his own marker, sorry. And he did, but he went a little low and hit my back of my leg. That's a little tender, but, I'm used to it. It just surprised me. I'm a big guy. It's not hard to miss me, so we have to work on his accuracy a little bit. But, to see Painting the World, what they do every day. They did it down at Dreaded Legends. A great guy donated all this stuff. I won't mention his name because I don't know if he wants the recognition or not, but he's a superior human being. He donated so much brand new, amazing equipment, and they gave it to a kid down in Florida. He was, I want to say, his name was Drummond, and I think it was Drew Drummond down there in Florida. This kid, I'll talk about him for a second. He's a young gun. He saved up money, bought his first gun, an old Spider. It didn't be real reliable, but he raised the money himself, saved the money, whatever be the case. He got the gun the day before Dreaded Legends, and he went in the final battle. The gun quit working or something happened. Instead of walking off the field, he sets his marker down, and he takes the hill and runs right into the 50-yard. And he starts doing the missions, changing the flags and all that stuff. Whatever they told him to do, he ran out. And this kid was, a little dude. And so that's what he was awarded by that, because Mary Burkhardt with Pirates, Modern Day Pirates, she was looking for somebody to get that to, and he just stood out among the crowd. He was an incredible heart for a young gun, and I truly believe he's going to do amazing things in the sport. So, those are just little stories like that. We need to not focus on each other and the controversies of the business side of it. All the stuff that you see, all the legal issues flying around between two major companies. Yep. We don't need to focus on that. What we need to focus on are these kids. Bring them out there, find them, get them on the field, and show them what the sport's about. It's not about bickering. It's not about lawsuits. It's not about anything like that. What it's about each other and promoting the sport. All these legal issues that happen, they'll get worked out wherever they need to get worked out.
Absolutely.
The main thing is they just need to make sure the young guns are interested. It's not a negative outlook, and keep this as positive as possible. And that's partially integrity shots. I'm all about the integrity of the sport. So
right.
That's kind of how I got involved in all that.
I know that you were talking about Paint the World. They actually sent. We have 7 kids. My fiance and I have 7 kids together. So 3 of my boys, one of my oldest son, and then 3 of her boys, all play paintball. And my son, my oldest son, actually, I reached out to Lewis Leon, I think is what his name is, with Paint the World. And he actually sent for Christmas. My son for Christmas got a new mask, an HPA tank, some pods, and a belt. And it was like, he told me at the end of that, like out of Christmas and stuff, he said that was his favorite gift out of everything that he got.
That's awesome.
And he couldn't wait to get out there and play. And so I think we're actually going to try the 25th of February to go out and go play. But yeah, it's so great getting these young kids involved in that, and that's what's going to help grow the sport. I mean,
absolutely.
So, so how many times would you say when you get those action shots, do you get hit a lot, or do you just, I mean, do you know how to like bob and weave through that stuff?
Well, first of all, being the size I am, I don't bob and weave anywhere. And that's just not an option for me. I'm not a weave kind of guy. My biggest thing is, for the size that I am, I'm pretty agile out there. I move pretty quick and get around. You know, I get in the middle of the shots and then I'm out pretty quick. So the biggest thing for me is I listen. You know, another photographer said the other day, he said, you know, people get so concerned about the photographers grabbing their pictures, and that's cool. What I suggest is to every single person, either they hire me or they just say, how am I going to get good pictures? My suggestion is be aggressive. You know, be out there, be tactical, you know, go in there and go where the play is. Because if you sit down and you wait for them to come to you, you'll never see a photographer taking more than one picture of you. And that's the biggest thing. So for us, we hear the battles going on and we go towards the battles. You know, that's what we do. We're drawn to that. And like a shark's drawn to blood. And that's the same thing for us. So you'll see if you have 5 photographers, you know all 5 photographers will be in an angle somewhere. And the nice thing about the Midwest, I can say that I've worked with several of them. We all get along really well. And we work together, and that is really proven down in Dreaded Legends, how we, at the final battle, we really just all had our own mission to work together to make it success. And, you know, during the final battle down there, there's no dodging anything, you know, and that's the thing about it. So the first 2 hits with the paintball of the day, that's usually the ones that wake me up a little bit. And then from that point forward, it's just, you know, I took a hand shot down at Legends. I've never seen it before. It actually broke my hand open, and it was pretty nasty. But it was the best. Is my favorite injury ever, if you will, because Modern Day Pirates gave me a bloody knuckles hat. So I kind of walked away from there. They could have gave me $1,000, wouldn't have meant as much as that hat did. So this was a big honor, you know, from them. But you know, so the biggest thing I think of any photographer to make the difference is get in the middle of the action. You know, that's where it's at. You know, there's just so many good photographers out there. I love to watch their posts. I love to watch their work. I can't say enough about those guys and girls to see them get to do this stuff, you know, because it's important. If you don't have photographers at your fields, the sport will drift away. It will become, but you've got to have those pictures, because pictures are worth a million words. And I guess that's partially why I do what I do, is because we capture the moment. We capture that very second of the game, of the sport, of the event. You know, we capture that very ideal, just like you could with your phone.
Right.
It's anybody in general could do this, but to be out there on that 50-yard line and taking those hits, with the slapsticks or wherever you're at, you know, that's where it's at. Those are the photographers that are out there that are getting shot, getting hit just for that one good picture. That's what the photography for paintball is all about, in my opinion.
So what kind of camera do you use? Do you use like a Nikon or a Canon?
Yeah. I love my camera. It's a Nikon D7200. It's not a big $1 million camera, but it's in the thousands. But, you know, the biggest thing is, I love this camera. It does low light, sealed bodies. So the paint hits, it doesn't get inside the body of it. The lenses are tough. These things have taken. I had a Nikon D80 I still use as a backup. I'm also a volunteer firefighter, and I used to go into our training burns with that camera, so that thing would take heat. So I knew that was a good camera to use on the field. But I went to this Nikon D7200 simply because it had a low light feature that I could go from outside where it's really sunny, running video right into a dark building. Like at Blast Camp, they've got those buildings up there, so you go from outside where it's sunny right into a dark area, and I can still snap pictures quick, and it's light enough in the picture without a flash, because I don't like to give the position away with flash.
So have you ever broke a camera then?
It's taken some hits. I know. I'll say Zach Arbuckle. He's Inspire Photography. I don't know how his one camera that he has is still held together, duct tape and electrical tape, and he's one of those photographers that get out there in the middle of it too. But I've seen his camera, and it's just I'm so scared to look at his camera, thinking, "Oh dear God, please no." But I've got insurance on it, something like that. So if something did happen, I'm covered. Everything will be okay. But the fact of the matter is, it's taking direct hits, and I'm really proud of the Nikon brand simply because the hits it's taken, it should have broke several times. So I'm very fortunate. It's taken first strike rounds. It's taken the regular paintball rounds. It's done everything. Field paint, pro paint. It's done it all. So it's really good.
Now, do you wear any special gear other than just the normal what everybody else wears typically when they go play?
Well, I'll tell you what. Before this year, I had a T-shirt was my company's uniform, if you will, for the paintball field. But you'll typically see me. If it's 80, 90 degrees, you're going to see me walking around in T-shirts or short sleeve shirt. Shorts and tennis shoes because I'd rather be in pain than hot. So, I'm just saying, I prefer to be cool. But yeah, so as far as the special stuff goes, I don't have any padding except what God gave me. I don't wear the jerseys that have the padding and so on like that. I do have a great jersey that I wear, Fusion Custom Apparel out of the Chicago area. They're trying to get into paintball with their jerseys. Tommy Freeman's an amazing guy. He's one of my sponsors. He sponsored these 2 shirts that I have. He designed them. Just absolutely incredible. And they stand out and exactly how I wanted it to be done. They stand out in the crowd. So it's just like a moisture wick shirt. And there's a lot of teams that are going to those. So it's because it's cooler. I don't who wants to be hot out there, and I'd rather take the hit than get hot. So
right.
But yeah, no, I've now an old school bulletproof vest. So Living Legends, I do have a vest. I let Zach try that out down at Dreaded Legends because he was going to be on that 50-yard line with the 360 fly he's working with. So I kind of said, here, you wear this out there, 'cause I'll be on the perimeter, and you're going to be down there in the thick of it. I'll see how it works. So he said they were hitting, you couldn't even tell. So Living Legends, I'm sure I'll have that on at some point when there's 3,000 paintballs flying every second. So
So speaking of that, what is your favorite event that you've either shot so far, or what's your favorite events to shoot?
Oh man, I'll tell you, I've never got into speedball yet. I'm going to say yet because I'll try anything. I'm going to have to practice doing speedball, though, because I'm afraid, because I like to get in the middle of the shot. I'm afraid I'll walk right on the field and get in trouble. Because I'm used to, these events, these, big weekend events and stuff like that, woods ball, things like that. So scenario games, that's kind of where my heart is. I really enjoy that a lot. Mission Masters last year, Dean Allen, he put on such an event. I was so impressed by what he did and how he did it. I didn't think I'd like it at first, but I always give everybody a chance. And by the time it was over, I was so ecstatic on how it turned out. It was almost like every event, every entry, and every insertion was almost like a final battle. So that was a really cool one for me. And his personality is such a great guy. As far as my favorite I've ever done, man, I'll tell you what, every single time I leave home, I was like, that's the greatest game I ever played. Yeah, but it's not, because every time I leave that field, anywhere, I think, man, that was the greatest day. That was the greatest day in paintball history. And it's not just because of the event itself, but it's because of the people. I've made some really great brothers and sisters. I can't even call them friends anymore because they mean so much to me. When I get to see, we missed December with the MFOG ODIL. We missed December because icy roads, and it was just nasty. And I told Caesar, he's the one who organizes all that. I said, we can never do this again. We can never miss another one. 'Cause, I missed those guys. Yeah. One month I missed them, and that I do it every month for them. And, I was like, oh, we can't be doing this again. People come down from Michigan and all over the country to play these games. And I'll tell you what, it's incredible. So for any special event, I love MacFed. That's a whole nother level of family. The airsoft guys, they're totally opposite. There's a big controversy between paintball and airsoft, but I love the airsoft guys because they get really into it. They get a great tactical look to them, so that's always great for pictures. I love that aspect of it. But the paintballers as a whole, any event I've been to, I've been really blessed to have a positive experience. So I can't say I have one favorite that I've ever done. because I've yet to meet a bad promoter or a bad field owner, and that's what I love. I'm really excited. One of these days, I'll be able to tell you my worst experience. I don't know if I'll ever be able to tell you my best.
That's awesome. I know there's several events that I have. I'm trying to put all the events that are local to, what we do here in Greensburg and Shelbyville and then all, in Hobart at the Hoth. And I know you guys got Predator's Bane in April, and the Hoth is February the 11th, so that's just in a couple weeks here.
That's this weekend.
Oh, yeah, it is this weekend. It's the 9th.
Yep, that's what I said.
And then there's the spring offense at White River in Anderson. Yeah. And I'm probably missing some, but I'm gonna try to keep it updated. Now, do you go to every one of those events, or do you actually just only go to certain ones?
Well, I'll tell you, my thing that I try to do is I try to make each event if I can. That's my goal. I try to go to all of them if it's possible. Dreaded Legends. I spent a bunch of money going to Dreaded Legends. I didn't have any type of team secured, if you will, to hire me for that event. So I dumped a bunch of money into it, and when I got back, I had done more into it. But what I got out of that was priceless. The friendships, the brotherhood, the getting to work with Honda for the first time and seeing what he's capable of, and seeing the final battles, and just all this, meeting all the modern day pirates and seeing their charity and their heart that they have. That was payment for me. That really made me feel good, and I feel like I've made some lifetime friends and family. But, the biggest thing is, as far as when an event comes around here, obviously, I try to get it to all the local events. I'm going to everything you listed. I'm going to this year. I've got it on my calendar to go to.
I know I probably missed some because, I just happened to pull it up, and I know, Sherwood's got the Spartans versus the Vikings in March. You guys got Predator's Bane in April. Sherwood's got another one called Stargate Retaliation, and then Living Legends 10 is in May, so May 19th. Yep. And then Armageddon, God versus Evil scenario game, that's at Hell Survivors. And I don't know if you ever make it up towards Michigan or not, but
I'm actually got a couple teams that hired me for that event, so yeah, I'll be going. That's a Dean Allen Mission Masters game.
So they say those are really the Mission Masters. I know I was talking to James Pullum about that a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about it, and he said that Mission Masters puts on the heck of a scenario.
It is. It really is. And that's, not to take away from any other promoter and what they've done. Like I said, DJ's a phenomenal guy. He's got his way. Dean's got his way. Jerry Grimm's got his way. All these guys, Mike Perrell, they have their own style. And I love each and every one of their way they do things. I can't take one away from the other. But just meeting Dean and working one of his games last year, Mission Masters, I love it. I love his style. I can't wait to see what he's going to do at Hell Survivors. It's just I keep hearing these teasers, if you will, how great it's going to be. So, and I don't have any doubt. I don't care if the game sucked itself. Just the fact I get to see Dean, I'm pretty sure about that because he's such a great guy to talk to. But I know for a fact I'm going to go up, and I was going to go up there before I was even secured because I wanted to experience another one of his games. So, Legend of Mordor is later, I think September at Sherwood. I'm going to be at that game. Sherwood Forest, they see, and this is kind of cool. I wish more fields would do this. And they probably do, just not with me yet. But like Sherwood, they secured me for their two big games as their photographer, and they don't want any other logos other than Sherwood put on there. And they want the players to have access to them. And I thought, that's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
That they're going to bring me on. They don't want a bunch of fluff on the pictures. They just want people to have the experience at Sherwood Forest. And that was a cool thing to do, and they paid me to come up there and do that. Joe and Kathy I can't even tell you, I love those guys more than you'll ever know. We had a very personal connection last year during the game, and it was just incredible. We've just stayed in touch ever since. But it's getting around to these events and Hell Survivor with Dean just to go play another event is going to be fantastic.
That's awesome. Is there anything else you want to cover before I wrap up?
Tell you what, just I want to give a shout out, to a couple people. It's my girlfriend. She puts up a lot of crap. The life, and I know every photographer has that in their life, but Casey, she does so much for me. She helps me with shoots because I do wedding photography too. This is my full-time business. So she's always there to pick up the scraps when I need help. She's the first one to help. So big shout out to her. My investors, anybody who's ever invested, I give a big praise to them for all their help that they've got me where I am. My son, he's incredible. He puts up with me being gone. And so anyhow, that's the family stuff is really important to me. So I want to make sure that they know that I love them for everything they've done to support me in this, and so I can help the players and help the sport grow. Armadillo Incorporated, get your dreads, get your compression gear from them. PB Sports, Fort Wayne, Jay Wonderly, awesome dude. Make sure you contact him for all your gear. He's got everything. Give Fusion Custom Apparel. Give them a shout. Look him up on Facebook. Tommy Freeman, tell him I sent you. Team tags, of course, Roger Weber. You can't forget him. I love his team tags, love his personality. And so all the guys out there that are going to sponsor me, that are sponsoring me, I can't, if I forgot somebody, I apologize. Respect Paintball. I want to say a big shout out to those guys because they're pushing the sport in such great ways. So, if you've been in the sport a long time, look at the little things that happen around you because that's what's supporting the dream of this sport becoming bigger. So, man, I appreciate the time on here. I could talk all night.
Yeah.
This could be a 6-hour podcast. I'm not kidding.
No, I get it. I appreciate it, Billy Jack. Thanks for taking the time out to talk to me, and maybe I'll get with you after the show and we'll talk. I'm actually getting married in July, so if I need a photographer, I might need a photographer. You never know.
And you're not very far away, so I can give you a good deal, brother.
Oh, there you go. See, perfect.
And I will let you know, I also do DJ and photo booth as well.
Oh,
so
perfect.
I know. I'm a one-stop shop. One-stop shop.
Awesome.
Awesome, man.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show, and I hope to talk to you again soon. I hope to see you at some of these events. And
absolutely, man. Anytime you hit me up, let me know. And you're not too far away from me, so if you can make it to Indy, you can jump in my car and ride with me.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Billy Jack.
Awesome, brother.
All right, man. For all Splat, I'm your host, Chris, and that's a wrap.